Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting for Thursday, May 22nd, 2014 of Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. We'll start this meeting with a pledge to the flag. Director Scheidegger, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director. This open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Saturday, May 24th, 2014 at 1 p.m. and Monday, May 26, 2014 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14 webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district's website, www.metrofire.ca.gov. At this time, I'll entertain any public comments for the board. I have no cards. Seeing none and hearing none, we'll move on. I'll entertain a motion for consent.
I'll move the consent calendar.
We have a motion and a second. I know that we also have a question, so at this point, I'll entertain questions on consent. Director Scheidegger.
Thank you. Just a quick question. I see Chief Clough is not here. On the patient care report, I just wasn't sure on page, what is it? Page 5 of the report, we talk about how we're going to pay half the contract at the bid and then the remainder at the implementation, and then the first year of maintenance. The math, I'm not sure adds up. It'd be 85 for half, and then, what, about 49 for the annual maintenance?
What page are we on?
Page 5. I just want to make sure that we can go ahead and vote to approve it. I just wasn't sure that it added up, and maybe it was me. Now, there's also the takeaway, because we're not getting the visual informatics feature, if I understand correctly. But if somebody could just take a look at that math and make sure that it's...
Chief?
Yeah,
I like the proposal.
It's on consent. What I will do, if you pass it, we'll make sure that we make sure that that's corrected if there is an error before we implement it. But I don't, Chief
Right.
Clough's mom had a medical emergency in Southern California, and so he's on his way back from that.
I just want to make sure before it goes out that it's
We will absolutely make
Right.
sure that that
I love
happens.
the concept. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for consent, gentlemen? Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk.
Aye.
Wood. Scheidegger.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
And Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. I want to make the public aware of a couple of items on our agenda this evening that have been changed. We have pulled action item number 1. We have also removed presentation item number 2. Those will not be addressed at this evening's meeting, but for a later date. We will also be completing tonight's agenda a bit out of order. We will go through the action items and the presentation item that's remaining. We'll get all of our reports and committee reports. We'll have our board member questions and comments, and then we will move into closed session so that all of you can enjoy the long holiday that obviously our colleagues are enjoying. And so I think we'll do it that way, since there's actually no attorneys that need to be present in the closed session. That way a majority of these fine people can go home and be with their families. Is there any concern about that, gentlemen? Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on then to action item number 2 on the agenda, amendment to contract training needs analysis. Mr. Davis.
Directors, Chief Larry Davis, Chief Development Officer. This item is just an amendment to an existing professional services agreement for the simulator project. This has to do with the technology needs, and in order to appropriately address the agreement, we expanded the scope a bit, and we expanded the deliverable a little bit. So I just wanted to bring that back in front of the board as a change. There's no fiscal impact. It's already part of the agreement, and there's no change to the not to exceed. It's pretty much the same.
Mr. Chairman, I move the proposal.
Thank you very much. I have a first.
Second.
And I have a second. Thank you very much. Questions or comments for Mr. Davis? Thank you, Mr. Davis. Please call the roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Wood?
Aye.
Scheidegger?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Larry. Moving next on to presentation items. Item number 1, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team Presentation. Chief Holbrook.
Directors, Chris Holbrook, Deputy Chief of Operations, and I wanted to share with you tonight. There we go. See if we can get this up. I want to share with you tonight what occurred here a couple of weeks ago, and that was Metro Fire was asked to assist CAL FIRE with a incident management team exercise. There are 6 CAL FIRE incident management teams in the state of California. They handle the worst of the worst incidents. And about last October, we got a phone call here saying, would you please coordinate this kind of an effort for us? We walked them through the simulator facility that at the time was literally bare studs and said, you have to see the vision. And they said, you know what, we see the vision, let's go. Let's put this thing together. What occurred was over 20 people worked for 6 months. We literally brought in subject matter experts from local, state, and federal agencies, got their injects to make a scientifically validated scenario that was non-fire to exercise these teams. So what we ended up exercising was the 6 teams. That's over 200 personnel that were exercised in this facility. It took over 3 days for it to occur. If you think about the complexity of a Type 1 team, and they handled like the San Diego Fire Siege, for example, what we did was the foundational piece of the exercise was to plan the evacuation of 900,000 residents from Sacramento County, a non-traditional event for a CAL FIRE incident management team. But you can do the math and in your head what it would look like to try to get 900,000 people out of Sacramento County. So everything that we do, as I mentioned, was scientifically validated. You never, ever exercise something that isn't real or something that isn't validated. The idea being that you need buy-in from a very high level, and you won't get it if you're making things up, if you will. No pie in the sky in this. So what we did was we validated the Sacramento County Emergency Evacuation Plan, utilizing the state emergency plan. Again, non-traditional documents for a CAL FIRE incident management team. So I'm going to walk you through. I don't have my mouse. What that really looks like.
We have breaking news this morning out of Folsom. We're just getting word that there has been an explosion along the Folsom Dam that occurred just minutes ago. Details are still coming in, but as you can see on the map, we do know that the explosion happened along the west side of the Folsom Dam near Folsom-Auburn Road. No word yet on whether or not there were any injuries from that explosion, and we have heard that authorities are arriving on scene now. We have a crew on the way, and we'll bring you the very latest details as soon as we get them.
Now, as we design an exercise, what you really want is you want something complex enough to validate the worth of them putting in the time and the money for this particular event, but at the same time, completely applicable. The beauty of this exercise was that we designed it for Sacramento County. However, we applied it to CAL FIRE incident management teams. So what you see in front of you is actually a flood depth map. The darkest of the red is about 15 feet deep. That's when you put the math together with what that really means, and so the pocket area residential community being 15 feet underwater is bad enough. But if you look downtown and you take out state government, now what you've done is you've added the complexity that is worthy of a Type 1 team to exercise. So this is if you will, an operational mindset. This map is what we would think of while we were exercising this thing. The water progression over time, the depth, and that would allow us to set our priorities. Now, I want to show you one more video. Oops.
Our top story this afternoon, the explosion at Folsom Dam yesterday has led to flooding across the Sacramento area. Evacuations are underway as the water is rising to dangerous levels. Continuing our coverage on this developing story, we go live now to Dennis Shanahan in Rancho Cordova with how residents are bracing for the rising waters. Dennis.
Sabrina, it's been just over a day, but already the once tranquil American River has become a nightmare for residents.
Everything that you're watching is green screen.
And other areas just below the Folsom Dam. Like a small army preparing for battle, California Conservation Corps members and CAL FIRE hand crews have been feverishly working to reinforce weak points along the American River's levee systems to hold back the tide of water flowing from Folsom Lake.
We've been out here all night long reinforcing the weak spots of the levee, doing everything that we can to hold back the water as long as possible away from people's homes.
Emergency personnel say that holding back the water is buying precious time for area residents to evacuate. But despite these efforts, water levels continue to rise, threatening hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses. Since yesterday's explosion at the Folsom Dam, authorities have continued
That is
to
green
increase
screen
the
as
rate
well.
of water being released from Folsom Lake. The result, major flooding in areas across the Sacramento region, displaced residents, and no sign of an end in sight. And the problems continue to mount for responders. The explosion caused damage to one of the dam's major water pipelines, which continues to compromise the integrity of the dam. Worst of all, officials have determined that they are unable to repair the leak due to safety concerns. Emergency management officials have been coordinating evacuation efforts since yesterday, and they hope that as many people as possible will be out of harm's way if the dam fails. We are being told by police that many residents have not heeded their warnings. Red Cross estimates that their shelters have only about half of the 100,000 or more expected evacuees right now. Without a way to...
So, out of respect for the time this evening, I have one more piece to go through. We need a mouse for this. All right. What I want you to appreciate is what you see in this room is beautifully built, and you've got nothing but rave reviews relative to your facility. What you see next door is wires being pulled and all of that stuff. The beauty of what occurred here was there was no simulation center. What you had done was the folks who designed this exercise, and plenty of our staff were involved in that, actually went back to paper and pencil. We went back to paper maps. We went back to cutting video and utilizing that for the simulation to update the reality of it. Everything that you do, you want buy-in for the simulation. You want them to feel like they truly have to get the 900,000 people out. And I have to tell you, 6 incident management teams who have literally been all over the nation left here with nothing but rave reviews for Metro Fire and your facility. So I want to show you your boardroom, though. Because as much as it sounds like you turn it on and let it run, this is what your boardroom looked like on that day. Your boardroom had over 40 people in it that were constantly pushing messages into the teams to make them react. This is Thursday at 3 o'clock. By 5, you were here. What you had was an all-hands effort to truly give this facility a shakedown You had people literally fly in, you had people drive in from the Bay Area, all over the state, to make this thing a success, to make that facility, his dream, his effort, a success. And I have to tell you, it was hands down a rocking exercise. It was phenomenal. So it wasn't fair to have this, and I apologize for waiting so long to share it with you, but what you've invested in Nextdoor in terms of your staff's time and money has been well worth it. And that is just the beginning of what can be in this facility. So we wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Questions for Chief Holbrook? Okay. Thank you very much for that presentation. Moving on, then, at this point, President Orzali, I hope you're enjoying your time off. Fire Chief's report.
In the essence of saving time, I have no report this evening.
Okay, I didn't mean that we needed to get out in 3 minutes. I just, we'll now move on at this point to our, and General Counsel, I'm assuming that you'll report when we're done with our closed session.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you then. We have no executive committee meeting reports. How's our local?
If I may, sir.
You want to do, oh, you're going to do ops report. Good, thank you.
And I'm going to, in the essence of time, I'm going to cut it short, but I do need to screen up Melissa. So actually, while this is coming up, the biggest things that we've had in operations are 2 strike teams. Strike team of Type 3 engines went down to San Diego for the siege. And then our OES, we have 2 OES engines that belong to Metro Fire. They went down to San Diego as well. Both of those have returned. In addition to that, we did have a USAR mobilization exercise to Los Angeles that would lasted 2 days. 20 people from Metro Fire went down and have since come back. Now, I'm going to be very brief and cut the rest of the ops report, but I do want to share something with you. The PIO was supposed to be here. She's live on TV right now.
Actually here, Chief.
Is she? Oh, there she is. She made it back. I want to share with you sidewalk CPR. And last Saturday, over 150 people were trained at Station 21. The unique thing about this was our PIO, and you can come on up, actually got this done in 5 languages. Now, that is a big deal. And there were demonstrations. Director Scheidegger's attended the open house before, I know, with your family. It was all about getting the kids comfortable and all of that. I can't understand them either. That's in Russian. Pretty cool. Now, the reason that I wanted to share this with you was not only is this novel an amazing outreach to the community, this Saturday, Sunrise Mall will literally have an ambulance pulled inside the mall. We will do sidewalk CPR. It is being widely advertised. Captain Item was not going to be here tonight. She just finished up the News 10 live in studio about this particular thing. You're going to have to watch that link, and we will send that out to you tonight. It is probably one of, in my 28 years, one of the most unique stories that came out of sidewalk CPR that I have ever seen. Wow. So we'll send you that link tonight, and that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Okay, Chief, thank you very much. Sacramento Metro Fire District's Firefighter Local 522.
Hello, members of the board. I'm Roman Rubalcava. I'm shop steward with 522. This will be brief. There's only 3 things to report. Our captain's promotional exam is entering phase 3, starting next week. We got an upcoming battalion chief's exam, and also on June 28th, the Firefighters Burn Institute is hosting a fundraiser, a Tropical Affair Gala. And so tickets will be available through 522 or through the Burn Institute, or you can get them through any of the shift reps. And that's it, short and sweet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. No executive committee report. Com Center JPA, any report? I don't
No
see
report,
Chief.
sir.
Thank you, Chief. Fire Rescue Training JPA, Director Kelly.
Fire Rescue Training JPA, I believe, meets on June.
Okay, thank you, Director. I see that we don't have Director Jones or Director Pearson, so I'm assuming those committees don't have a report either. All right, then we'll move on to our board member questions and comments. We'll start with Director Monk.
I have nothing at this time.
Seems to be a theme that I should start every meeting like that, huh? Become highly efficient. Director Wood.
Just apologize for my tardiness. Thanks for your understanding.
Perfectly fine. Director Scheidegger.
I had a 20-minute speech I wanted to give since we have, no, I have nothing, thank you.
Director Kelly.
I'd just like to
Live it up.
thank everybody at Metro Fire. I'm extremely grateful for you guys helping out my brother-in-law when he had his injury. I know I've mentioned it once before, and he's recuperating nicely. And spoke to him on the phone today. He asked me to send his thanks as well.
Thank you, Director Kelly. I have no comments this evening, except that I appreciate all that everyone does in this organization. It is fantastic to see everything that's going on every day. I know everyone is just working so hard, and so much time is put into everything. It's just amazing to us. What we'll do at this point is go into closed session, so we'll stand in adjournment until then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll reconvene the regularly scheduled meeting, and we'll have our general counsel report out on our closed session.
Thank you, Director Gould. The board met in closed session to consider the workers' compensation claim of employee Carrie Freeman. The board voted to give settlement authority to its third-party administrator to settle that claim. The board also met with respect to the workers' compensation claim of Eric Satched, and the board voted to give settlement authority to its third-party administrator to settle that claim.
Thank you, Mr. Lavra. Seeing no further business before this board, our next board meeting is scheduled for June 12, 2014 at 6 p.m. There's no further business. This meeting stands adjourned.